Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. In 2017, I quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the US in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew multiple successful businesses, and wound up back to my roots as a small town girl. Today, I'm still doing what I love, selling on Amazon and helping other sellers start and grow their own online businesses. Each week on Your Selling Podcast, we will cover different aspects of selling online and highlight other sellers just like you and I. From part-time sellers creating extra income on the side to full-time sellers growing million-dollar businesses. Think of this as a sit-down with your Amazon bestie where we can learn and grow our online businesses together. Welcome to Your Selling Podcast. Hey crew, and welcome back. On today's episode, I'm going to be going over the best softwares and tools for your Amazon business for 2024. Now, there is not anything that you actually have to have besides an Amazon seller account, which has the free Amazon selling app, but there are a lot of tools that will make your business easier and help you do things easier. So I'm going to cover the ones that I use and that I think are the best for 2024 Amazon selling businesses. A couple of announcements before we jump into the episode. We have the next Amazon Seller Meetup happening in Dallas, Texas on April 13th. Early bird tickets are going on sale right now. You can get them at yoursellingguide.com/meetup. The early bird price will be available for just a couple weeks. And then once we get past that initial offering, which is the first 2 weeks of February, then the ticket prices do go up. I love these meetups. I love chatting with you guys. I learn something myself all the time. And so I know you will be learning something too. We're going to be doing activities, having drinks, having appetizers, food. It's always a really great time. So I look forward to meeting you in Dallas, Texas on April 13th. If you are a member of my BOLO group, our next hangout is February 15th. So mark your calendars. And if you're in the BOLO group, it's already there as an event. So go ahead and RSVP that you are coming. The BOLO group, for those of you who aren't a part of it, is Retail Arbitrage BOLOs. So it's be on the lookout. It's items that we're finding and selling right now. And in store, we're finding them in store, we're sharing them, and then we're sending them into Amazon. They're all items that fit my minimum requirements. So it's $5 profit. And it's really just an awesome community where you can talk to other sellers and learn, and also have BOLOs to look out for your business. So definitely consider joining that. And my last announcement is that I would love to chat with you on the podcast. Yes, you, no matter how long you've been selling, if you sell on any of the other platforms, if you sell on Walmart, I would love to talk to you because I know a lot of sellers on Amazon, but I like to cover all the different platforms because you don't want to have all your stuff in just one platform like Amazon. You need stuff to be on eBay to move stuff that didn't sell. So whatever it is that you sell, I want to talk to you. So reach out to me directly at podcast@yoursellingguide.com. Okay, so jumping into the softwares. Now, the first one, a lot of you are probably already using, but if you're not, you really should be, is Keepa. So Keepa is a paid software. I think it's like $20 a month. I'm not sure. I pay by the year because you save some money that way. But it is really a must-have because it tells you the whole product life cycle. Can't think of the word. But anyways, it tells you the whole thing. It has the tracking of the rank over time, the price over time. It tells you how many offers. You can see things through the Keepa data, like what the best variation is, if Amazon shares the buy box, what the price used to sell for. I use it all the time if a product is sold out in store because I can't tell with the Amazon app, you can't tell what the profit potential would be. So I use Keepa to see what was it selling for. I go to the historical offers and just see, okay, I could probably list this for $50. I can get it for $15. That's going to have some profit, right? So it helps me see things like that. Now, there is a free option, but you get very limited data. So I always recommend, even a new seller, it's pretty much the only one paid software you kind of have to have. You don't have to have it, but it'll help you save money on bad buys and potentially bad products. If something has a lot of offers and then all of a sudden you see a cliff where all the offers fall off, that means they issued an IP and all those sellers got kicked off the listing. So there's things you can infer from the data, which is really helpful. The one thing that I get asked a lot is, what is a drop? And Keepa, all it is, and it's easy to forget this, but all it is a data combing. So it's combing the data on Amazon's website and it's pulling them into various graphs. So it's pulling what the price was, how many sellers are, how many tracking. I don't know why I keep saying tracking. What's the rank? what the rank is for that item. So over time, so it's just grabbing, like it'll grab it, 10 a.m. today, it's going to grab it, and then it's going to grab it maybe again at 11. I don't know what the cycle is, but that's all it is grabbing the information from Amazon, and it's creating these helpful graphs, and it's got all the history of different offers. If you use the buy box statistics, so on the desktop, it's under data, but on the phone, it's just at the bottom, you scroll to buy box statistics, and it will tell you if Amazon shares the buy box. So if you see Amazon on the listing and it says they win the buy box 100% of the time, they're not sharing the buy box. But if you see that they're only winning it 50% of the time, you could compete with Amazon and win the buy box with them. So I use it like that. Another thing is the variations tab. So you can see it's easy to find all the different variations of a product right there, where the Amazon app no longer has them listed like they used to in the good old days. But now you can see it on Keepa. And also on Keepa, on the variations tab, you'll see a little trophy, and that means that variation has the most reviews and ratings, making it probably one of the better seller variations. So again, because Keepa is just data combing and grabbing data and putting it into graphs for us, it's just telling us that product has the most reviews and ratings. So it's because, and you can infer from that because it has the most ratings and reviews, that means it sells the most often, right? Because the more it sells, the more likelihood that it'll have ratings and reviews. So that's how it's using that data. Again, so that's things you can infer from the data. So Amazon does not tell you how much any single product's going to sell. They're not going to tell Keepa or any other software how much a product's going to sell. You're just inferring from the sales rank and from the sales velocity of like how many offers and all that kind of stuff, how much it's selling quickly. So it is a good system to have, but it's also good to remember it's not factual. It is not saying this is for a fact going to sell X amount a month or whatever. It's just pulling data for you to use for your own business. Another thing I use Keepa for in store all the time is seasonal products. Seasonal products are great profit potential, but you want to know. So right now Easter's coming up. So I want to know if this product sold well last Easter. I go to Keepa, I go to the year view, and I can see what the rank was for last year. So I use it all the time in store, and it really is kind of those, must have. Unfortunately, it is now paid. If you've been selling for a while, you remember when all this was free, like I do. But now it's paid, like everything else. Okay, next up are scanning apps. So obviously there's the Amazon Seller app that is free. That's the one I've been using forever, and I still use it today. But I also do use these other two apps. So I have Scoutify 2 that comes with Inventory Lab, and I'll talk about Inventory Lab coming up here. But Scoutify 2 is how I've been using it now that the Amazon app changed the revenue calculator and made it more cumbersome and clunky and just not as useful as it once was. So now I scan stuff with the free Amazon app, but then I go over if I think it makes a profit or I'm going to buy it, then I use my Scoutify app. In Scoutify, you can create buy lists. So every time I'm out, I have a new buy list for that shipment that I'm making. And then once I have the product, I say how many I'm buying. I have the store it's in. It's very easy to use in store. And then I say, this is how much I'm going to price it at, because you can see the pricing and everything. I always price above the buy box. And then I go ahead and add it to my buy list. Once I have everything done sourcing, like I've sourced, right? So let's say I go sourcing on Tuesday. I have everything on my buy list by the time I get home on Tuesday, because I've saved it in stores while I'm out. Now, when I go to pack up my shipment on Wednesday, all I have to do is import that buy list into Inventory Lab, which is literally a click of a button. And now all my products are already listed. I can print out all the labels. You guys, I only started doing this during Q4 last year, and it is a game changer. It saves me literally half a day because I'm not literally sitting there and inputting all of the products when I get home, because I've already done it in store. It literally, sometimes I might forget one, so I make sure everything is there before continuing on with the shipment and Inventory Lab, but it is so helpful. I absolutely love it, and I'm not going to go away from this buy list feature because it makes my life so much easier when entering my shipment into Inventory Lab. So Scoutify app is good for scanning, but if you are not using that buy list, I highly recommend. If you've followed my Amazon videos journey, then you know that I didn't used to use it, and I actually have talked about it. Like, it just takes more time in store, and I'm like a fast scanner. I like to keep going and get as much as I can because I'm scanning all day. I leave the house at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., depending on how far I'm going, and I get home at like 5, 6, sometimes in the summer, like 8, 9, while it's still light out. So I'm gone all day sourcing, and I'm making the most of all those hours. So I would get annoyed by how slow Scoutify was in store, so I didn't use it all that much. But now that I use the buy list, I absolutely make sure I'm using it, and I make sure everything's on that buy list. It's worth the time in store that it takes because it saves me so much time the day that I'm packing my shipment. Another scanning app that lots of sellers love is SellerAmp. So I currently don't use SellerAmp to scan in store because I just use Amazon and Scoutify. I don't see the need for SellerAmp, but those sellers who use it absolutely love it. How I use SellerAmp is actually for online arbitrage. So it's a software, you download like the Chrome extension, and then it like pops up on the Amazon page, and it gives you all the information just like the scanning app does when you're scanning in store. But it has the ability to create Google spreadsheets. So I add everything I'm going to buy online to these Google spreadsheets. So now I know when the product comes, when it's delivered, which there's some over there I got to pack up. But when it's delivered, now I have everything already. I have the ASIN. I could already start making my Inventory Lab shipment if I wanted to. That same way I could take it and import it. It makes it so much easier. So SellerAmp for me, I only use it for online arbitrage, but if you want to use it for both, people love the app. So that would be another one that I recommend checking out. I think it's relatively inexpensive. Last I looked, which it might have changed like everything, it was about $230 a year. So it's not all that expensive if you want another software to help you out with your scanning. I do have affiliate links. So if you don't have any of these softwares and you want to use my affiliate links, I would appreciate that greatly. It doesn't cost you anything, and I just get a little bit of money if you click on them, but all of the links are in the show notes, so you can definitely check them out and see if they're right for your business. Hey crew, is your Amazon business set up for success this year? Do you know how much profit you really made on that item you just sold? Or what about this? Do you notice when the Amazon FBA fees change on a product in your inventory? These are just some of the reasons why I love SellerBoard and why I've partnered with them on the You're Selling podcast. I have been using SellerBoard for 4 years now, and I absolutely do not know how I would run my business without it. I love how simple SellerBoard is to use. The desktop version is set up so easy. As soon as you connect your Amazon account, all of your products from the past, anything you've ever sold, is going to flow into that. And the way I love it and use it the most is actually when I'm outsourcing. I have SellerBoard app right on my phone, and I can visually see the images of the products I'm selling today, yesterday, last month, last year, whatever I want to look at. I can see it in real time right on my SellerBoard app. SellerBoard is an affordable must-have tool for all Amazon sellers. And as listeners of this podcast, they have given you 2 months free to try it out for yourself. There's absolutely no credit card required to sign up, and you can cancel at any time. Head to yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit to set up your free trial today. Again, yoursellingguide.com/sellerboardprofit to get your 2-month free trial today. Okay, so Inventory Lab. Again, Scoutify 2 is the app for scanning that goes with Inventory Lab. So Inventory Lab, I used to only use Amazon Seller Central for creating my shipments, and it was perfectly fine. I did not see the need to invest in Inventory Lab, but everyone kept telling me I was silly not to. So I finally decided to give it a go, and it was a little bit of a learning curve. It wasn't all that hard to figure out, but Inventory Lab actually has a ton of videos on their own platform, so you could watch videos on how to do stuff. I was asking people in the BOLO group. Anytime I don't know how to do something, I'm asking in the BOLO group. So it is actually a huge time saver. And this was before I started using the buy list. So it already would save. It would make my shipments so much easier. I don't have to go in Seller Central at all. I don't know about you, but if you've ever done a shipment in Seller Central, things go wrong, and they always go wrong at the very end of the shipment when you're just so exhausted and want it to be done already and something breaks. So because of that, I started using Inventory Lab, and I've had things go wrong every once in a while. Like just this last week, there's been a glitch with Amazon's third-party API, and even on Amazon Seller Central, they've been glitching. But there's been glitches where they're not talking to each other properly. So Inventory Lab is obviously fixing that, and I've heard it's been fixed now, which is good because I got a shipment I got to do. But anyways, So I don't have any glitches. I've never, besides the one-off when it's Amazon's fault, I've never had any shipments go sideways on me since using Inventory Lab. And that is one huge thing. So now that I have Inventory Lab plus the buy list, it makes my shipments go so much faster. Where in the past it might have taken me a day or 2 days to prep and pack and list everything. It literally, I can do it all by myself without anyone helping me take stickers off. I can do it in a day now, which is amazing, because before, if it would take a day or two, that was with someone helping me take stickers off. So Inventory Lab really does save you the time. It just makes everything easier. You don't even have to go to Amazon anymore. You can finish your shipment entirely in Inventory Lab, which is how I've been doing my shipments for the last year, and it's awesome. Inventory Lab also, you can track your expenses in it if you want to. It'll tell you like how much profit you have on hand, potential, if everything were to sell at the price you have it at right then. If you use a repricer, it will talk to the repricer to tell it your like cost of goods so that you don't have to manually enter into the repricer. So I definitely recommend it. I buy it on the annual basis. That's how I do all my softwares if they offer it, because you save money. However, if you're just testing things out, so Inventory Lab has 30-day free trial. You can get the link below, like I mentioned. Try it out first and see. So if something gives you it doesn't have a free trial, I would just use it for a month, do the month one. If you like it after the month, then go for the year if you're going to continue using it to save money. All right, another tool that will be so helpful to your business in 2024 is a retail arbitrage BOLO group. If you're doing retail arbitrage and you're not in with a community, you guys, you are going to learn so much by talking to other sellers. Like I mentioned at the meetup, it's the main reason, like I love talking to the sellers in my BOLO group, which of course I'm going to recommend mine. I think I'm a little biased at that, but it's a really great group. And you have these leads to look for in your business. So I actually just got a text today from someone who was like, I'm just selling like Nike and Under Armour and I really want to scale my business. And I was like, honestly, if you're only selling clothes and those two brands, while they're good, they're really inundated with sellers who get stuff at Kohl's and stuff. So if you're only selling that, I would recommend beauty and grocery and like toys, like branching out into those. So that's what I told him over text. But I was like, honestly, if you join the BOLO group, you're going to get the list of leads, but that leads are telling you so much more than just the little item. It's telling you what stores sellers are going to, what categories they're finding them in, what is making easier for them. We talk about different sales that are going on. So like the Kohl's 50% off sale is going on. I think it's done now. If not, I don't know, check it out. But Kohl's is having 50% off clearance, and they do that a couple of times a year. So these are all things that we talk about in the BOLO group. There's the live hangouts, so you can chat with me right there in the group as well as the other sellers and learn stuff. Honestly, it's a business investment and it's worth it for you. I don't have an annual. You can't buy it by the year. It is just month to month. So you can try it out for your business and see if you like it. It's at yoursellingguide.com/BOLO. And of course, the link is below. But honestly, so many sellers tell me that that is how they are scaling and growing their business, by joining the group, because it opens your eyes. You get answers to questions you didn't even know the questions you had. Like someone else is going to ask a question, you never thought about it, and you're like, oh, wait, yeah. And now that's going to help you grow your business. So I recommend joining. I would love to see you there. Another tool I use all the time is IP Alert. And funny enough, I got an IP this morning from Amazon, a real one. So I've already acknowledged it. It's off my account, but I used IP Alert to see if the brand was there. Now, IP Alert is not it's user generated. So we tell them what brands are giving us IPs and then they add it to their software. So I emailed them the IP that I got this morning so that they can add it to their software. But what it is it's an app. It's a Chrome extension with a web app that you can put on your phone. And once you download it on your phone, it acts just like a regular phone app. So what happens is you'll get the Chrome extension. They've given me a discount code. You'll save $30 off it's like a one-time fee. You don't have to do every year. So it's just one-time fee. You'll save $30 off with code Nikki, NIKKI. But once you get the Chrome extension, there's like a little QR code that you scan on your phone, which gives you the web app extension. Okay, I mean the mobile app. Yeah, mobile app. The mobile app. You can scan barcodes now. They've updated it. It tells you can type in the brand, you can enter in an ASIN, and it will tell you if the product is an IP. I use it all the time in beauty, and I used it on the beauty item that I scanned today, but it was a scan that I got the IP for today. Because it's a new brand to TJ Maxx, I can't even remember what the brand was, but it will be an IP alert because I'm going to tell them about it. But anyways, I scanned it. It said it was all clear. There's no non-IP. So then I bought it. But if I scan something like Sharper Image is absolutely issues IPs. Discovery Kids issues IPs. If you scan it with IP alert, it's going to tell you that. I also love it, especially during the summer, because it tells you if things are meltable or not. If Amazon considers them meltable. If they're meltable, you can't send them in the warehouse, right? Because they're going to melt and get too hot. So you have to FBM them, and it tells you that right from your phone before you buy it, so you can know ahead of time, I'm going to have to FBM this or not. Like I said, you can get your IP alert $30 off Chrome extension. It's at yoursellingguide.com/IP alert. Okay, and the last tool, which is my absolute favorite tool, and if you're not using it, you definitely should be, SellerBoard. I've been using SellerBoard for over half my Amazon journey, and I've actually only been just using it to the very basic level, and now I understand everything SellerBoard has and does. I'm going to be using it. Basically, it's your all-in-one software. You can track your expenses in it. So if you have, let's say you pay rent for a building that you're using, or maybe you have a company and you're paying rent to the company or whatever. Or if you have your SellerBoard subscription, you add that into your expenses and it's going to tell you your net profit. So you've got your gross profit on all the products that you've sold, and you can see it on the app any time of the day you want to see. You can see how your products are doing, and then you'll have the net profit after you see all your expenses taken out for all your software, your Amazon fees and all that. But what's cool is, so say you pay $1,000 to rent a space out every month. You can amortize it over 30 days instead of having it all hit on day one. So if you don't have it amortized, it might look like you've lost $1,000, February 1st, when really all you did was pay your rent. But instead, it's going to amortize it. So when you look at your daily, you're seeing how much of that $1,000 fee you pay every day. So it's really cool how it does the expenses. Okay, but that's not all. Remember how I mentioned that I got an IP this morning? Well, I actually first knew about it because I hadn't got to the email from Amazon. I first knew about it because SellerBoard sent me an alert. So you can set up in your SellerBoard account under alerts. You guys, these alerts, they actually tell you if a product changed the title, if a product got pulled down. So maybe it's got compliance documents, you didn't notice it, and now it got pulled off of Amazon and it's sitting in your FBM, and instead of it just sitting on your desk, wasting, getting dusty, you could return it to Walmart because you can't sell it anymore because the listing got pulled. So it literally tells you product images change, titles change. If you get bad seller feedback, every day, every morning, I'm going over to see if my feedback went up or not. Instead of doing that, now I just get an email and it'll let me know. You can set up the alerts to be just in your just in your SellerBoard dashboard. You can set up your alerts to just be in your SellerBoard dashboard, or you can set them up to be alerted via email and in the dashboard. So important ones like the seller feedback, if the product gets pulled down, if images change, I have those set up to email me as well as tell me in the dashboard. But you can choose however you want it to do. If you have someone on your team you'd rather email, if you have someone helping you with FBM or whatever, and you want to have them be alerted, you could add their email address to it instead. So there's a lot of different things that SellerBoard does. One question about SellerBoard I often get is about the cost of goods. So you could manually insert them, or if you use another software like Inventory Lab or somewhere where you've already entered all your costs of goods, or if you have a spreadsheet, you can actually mass upload them into SellerBoard all in one chunk so that you don't have to sit there and manually do it. So there's a lot of cool things that SellerBoard does. And by the end of 2024, they're rolling out a lot of new features. And so it is really going to be an all-in-one. It might be the only software that you need for your Amazon business to do everything. So definitely check it out. They're so generous. They're a partner on this podcast, and they've given 2 months free of SellerBoard. You can get 2 whole months to plug in your account and see if you like it, see how it works for you. You can get that at yoursellingguide.com/SellerBoardProfit to grab that free 2-month trial. So those are all the tools that I use in my Amazon business, and I think they are the best tools for you going forward. And actually, by the end of 2024, there's going to be some tools that some new things are coming out that I might not need a couple of my other tools. So definitely check them all out. I will absolutely let you know when the new features roll out of one specific one. Can you take a guess? But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope this episode was helpful to you. Let me know if there's a tool you use or software you use in the comments. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave it in the comments or email me like, hey, Nikki, you got to check out this tool, because I'm all about anything that's going to make my Amazon business easier. And I will love to share it with the audience to help them make their Amazon business easier as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. Until next week, happy sourcing.